Hey, Kathy, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Oh, great. I see Andy is on the line too. Hello, Andy, and Councillor Hooper, our chair, Ted Smith, is on as well. So we're just bringing everyone back online. And I see our directors are here as well. And I see Jonathan Lucas. So he was instrumental in the preparation of the interim financial statement. Oh, hello, Kathleen. Actually, Ron's getting all set up. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
You're welcome. Shut the door behind me.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, the other door's
Yeah.
shut already.
Good, thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Then,
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Ron.
how you doing?
Very good, thanks.
Good boy.
And I know that Deb Kiesebrink sent her regrets for the meeting today. I think everyone received that.
Mark, you're starting to look pretty bushy.
Yeah, it might be an interesting contrast between the top half and the bottom half.
It is.
I got the haircut yesterday. I figured I'd look somewhat presentable, and then I looked at myself in the mirror, recognized the bottom half was a little interesting. So, but they're not doing beard trims yet. So,
No.
I can come up with my scissors.
yeah, the garden
Might be the best offer you get.
garden shears might be easier at first.
Yeah, might need a whippersnapper.
That might be fun, actually.
Now, who all do we have so far then? We have Kathy and both Rons and myself and
So it looks like we're awaiting Director Dunn and Director Ross.
is Andy on?
And yep,
Okay.
yeah, our vice chair is on. There's Director Ross. Hello, hello, Angus. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How's everybody?
Good, thanks.
Angus?
Very good. Yeah. So, thanks. So by my count, I think we're just waiting for Councillor or Director Dunn at this point. My count is right.
All right. Well, we'll give them a minute or so and then we'll get started.
Well, it's great that I think everyone's moving to a stage 3. I think Durham's going into stage 3 tomorrow, which is great. And I think the city and Peterborough area has been in for about a week now, right? So
Yeah.
So that's great. Good to see that things are opening up a bit.
Yeah,
need to.
I hope it's the right move.
Mhm.
Yes, we
Yeah.
all do. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'd like to welcome everyone today. And you have the agenda in front of you. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda. Director Wendover, second by Director Moore. Is there anyone opposed to that? Hearing none, motion is carried. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Hearing none, thank you. The minutes of the last meeting are in front of you, and there's a resolution there to approve those minutes. Resolved that the Board of Directors minutes of meeting number 5 be adopted as circulated. Could I have a motion regarding that, please?
I'll give you a motion.
I think that was Director Hooper.
Yes, sir.
Second by
Sorry.
Director Ross. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carried then. And I just wondered, could we have the agenda put up on the screen? Is that doable?
Yep, I'll put it up right now, and
That makes it simpler for me to scroll through my other stuff.
there we go.
Thank
And
you.
I think everyone should be able to see that.
Yeah.
Yep, great.
And is there any business arising from the minutes that won't be covered later in the meeting? All right, thank you. And if there are no deputations and no presentations today, next item on the agenda is the consent items. And there are 6 items on the consent items. Are there any polls? Does anyone wish to discuss any of those items?
Just number 7.3, Councillor Hooper.
7.3, okay.
And
It's Andy. I have a question on 7.1, but I don't need to extract it if you want to just ask a question before. It's up to you.
Well, go ahead and ask the question, Andy.
sorry if I could interrupt. I just got an email from Pat looking to try and get into the meeting. So it looks like he's set to go. Just looking for the meeting details. So if give me a second, I'll be able to get Pat online,
All right.
if that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Mel, I'm gonna send it to you. If you can send the meeting link over, if you have it accessible, that'd be awesome. There's a different email that he's looking for, so I'll send you the email. So you should be getting the email pretty soon.
Well, Mr. Chair, it's Andy. Maybe I'll ask my question on 7.1 if it's okay. All I really wanted to know was, is this report we get every month, is this a lot of work for staff to put this together? And if it is, would there be any value in having it presented to the board quarterly as opposed to every month? I'm just not sure every month if it's generating a whole lot of time to pull that together, if a quarterly report would be easier. I know it's just for the board to keep them up to date on the permits, but I just wanted to ask that question.
Yes, thank you through the chair. What I'll do is I'll defer this over to Ron. What I can say is that we initially created this report several years ago just to make sure that the board was fully aware of permits being issued. So certainly, I think our calc timelines have improved from previous performance levels. So if there's comfort from the board in moving to a quarterly, I'd certainly be supportive of that. But I do know that with our new IMS, the process has become a lot easier for staff. So with that, I'll just turn it over to Ron for his comment.
And through the chair, if you can hear me okay, I would really just reiterate what Mark had just said. It's we would support doing it quarterly. However, it's not. I would not say it's a great time-consuming report at this juncture, mostly because of the IMS system, which has made it significantly less time. It's at your discretion.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm not preference one way or another. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't eating up a whole day to prepare this every month or something, and when it's information that we could get quarterly. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So then the only one of the consent items that's been pulled is 7.3. On the other items, is there, I have a motion, or did I get a motion? Can I have a motion to approve the consent item?
I'll make that motion.
Director Ross, thank you. Have a seconder, please.
I'll second it. It's Andy.
Director Latham, thank you. Is there anyone objecting to those? Hearing none, though, that motion is approved. And Director Hooper, you pulled 7.3.
And
Yes, sorry.
and sorry, Mr. Chair, if I can interrupt, I just wanted to let you know that Pat Dunn, Director Dunn, is now in the meeting as well. So
Good, thank you. Welcome, Director Dunn. We're on the consent items, and Director Hooper has pulled 7.3.
Yeah, my question is just, it's just the fact that, like, because I don't live on that area, so I have to pretty much go by what's on the map. So looking at the map, where are they going to expand the existing boathouse? Are they going to go back behind where the yellow line sort of dissects the, I take it that's the existing boathouse. Is that what I'm to assume? It's on the map?
Yes, that is. Where is that page? Oh, I can't go to it because that's.
Oh, sorry,
marked.
it's on page 17. Of
Yeah,
mine.
I can't
Okay.
go
I'm
to that.
I'm just trying to do the logistics part of it. So where are they going? Are they going to go back as opposed to towards the water? Yeah, there we go.
Mhm.
So they're going to go where that space is sort of cleared out. Is that where they're expanding it? It's going to remain the rest.
Yeah, it would be either to the rear or I'm going to say to the south. It certainly couldn't be to the north or to the
Yeah.
east. So yeah.
So my question was, and to the where the arrow head of the arrow is, all that back behind there, is that a sort of a forested area there?
From what I can tell there, it looks like there is some forested area, but it's probably clear immediately behind the existing boathouse.
Okay, so actually what they're doing is they're doubling the size of what they have, correct?
Again, I can't get to the report itself. I can only see what's
Yeah, but
on
it
my
says-
screen. I don't know what the old size was.
So it says in the report that it's a 535 foot, and then they're going to a 964. So it's going to be an awful big boathouse.
Through the chair, yes, it would be a large boathouse, and they are becoming more and more common
Okay,
as the size of boats are. It's actually been quite common, particularly on Balsam Lake.
the rich and famous. I'm just saying. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, and so I'll move the report as written. Thank you. I just wanted some clarification, and
Sure.
of course it'll be all flood proofed and everything else in regards to, because it is in the floodplain, correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. It was moved by Director Hooper. Could I have a seconder for that one then, please?
I will.
Director Wendover, I saw him first. Is there anyone opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. And the agenda back up, please, Mark.
Yep, I will move to the front there. We'll do this the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, thank you. Next item is the action items. 8.1 is the interim financial statement. And I'm just having trouble bringing it up on mine now, but okay, the recommended amended motion is that the interim financial statements to May 31st, 2020 be received. Can I have a motion regarding that, please? Director Moore, thank you.
Director Ross, I'll second that.
That was Director Ross, I think. Is there any questions or concerns or anything from staff?
I have a question. It's Andy.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just regarding the projected deficit for the end of the year, what would be the plan to offset that deficit come, if it, I know it's just a bit of a guesstimate at this stage, but if you're 50,000, over budget because of everything that's going on, I mean, is there a reserve that Kawartha Conservation could tap into? That's one of my questions. I have a follow-up. So I'm just curious of what the plan would be to cover that loss of revenue.
Through you, Mr. Chair, you're right, Vice Chair Lethem, that there is a reserve that is unrestricted reserve that could be applied for use in this regard. So this is something that in the last couple of years has been built up a little bit. I believe there's around $380,000 in that reserve. So that certainly could be used to offset the cost of this pandemic for 2020. So of course the year is not quite over yet, so there's a lot of uncertainties, but that reserve could be used.
100%. Thank you. The second question I have, if you don't mind, is special projects, where I noticed in your report and the financial statement, some of the special projects it looks like are going to get pushed off, understandably so. I know Kawartha Lakes has their lake management implementation, and I noticed from the budget items you're pushing off a portion of the approved budget for this year to next year. How exactly does that work, where we have sort of a 5-year plan? Does our 5-year implementation plan just become like a 6-year plan as we sort of extended a year because of the deferral and what couldn't be done this year? Or how would that work from a budget perspective? Is it money that we didn't spend this year, you'll put toward it next year, and then the ask for next year will be less and it'll just sort of push over a year? Or just a little bit of clarification be appreciated.
Yep. Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, you're absolutely right. My thought is, as we move forward this, there'd be discussions with our municipalities on those projects that have been pushed forward. Specifically, City of Kawartha Lakes, I think, is the one that we identified had some significant field work that was involved in several of the items, and some stewardship work as well that just won't be realized. So I see that the money that wouldn't be spent this year on those projects, we keep as a separate account in our accounting books. So that would be pushed off to 2021, and so it would be an effort where we'd have to take a look at how this impacts the work plan going forward, but it's a bit of half of one and half of another. So we are moving forward on some things and not moving forward on others, but I do believe as well that our 5-year forecast also needs to be updated as well. So we'd be looking at a effort to bring forward that task force as well, and kind of work out the plan for moving forward. So that's something I would see as a 2021 item. But it would reduce the budgetary pressure for 2021 on specifically City of Kawartha Lakes as we're talking.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you. Is there any more questions on that? Hearing none, then is there anyone opposed to the motion? Hearing none, the motion will declare the motion carried. And we're down now to 8.2. And I'm right, aren't I? 8.2 is next, I believe.
Yes.
And
Yep.
the recommended resolution. This is an update on the anticipated progress in the 2021 preliminary budget. Recommended resolution is that the 2021 preliminary budget be received. Can I have a motion on that, please? Director
I'll
Moore?
make it.
Sorry?
I'll
I-
second it.
All right, Director Seymour Fagan, thank you, Sue seconded. Is there discussion on this? All right. Hearing none. Is there anyone opposed to the motion? Motion is carried then, thank you. And that brings us down to new business. Is there any new business? Hearing none. Is there any updates from the any of the directors? Hearing none. I think next on the agenda is the closed session. And
yeah, and maybe before we go into closed session, Mr. Chair, if I could give a bit of an update that I'm sure everyone's interested in. I did provide a bit of an update for yourself and the vice chair on this. But you have noted this in the quarterly or the financial statement, the interim financial statement for May, but we are looking at bringing back our staff at 50% capacity in early August, early and mid-August. So we're excited that that we're in this position to kind of move forward and looking for a full return to work of our team by early September. So I'm pretty excited to have everyone back. So it's certainly been a long road, and I know everyone's probably eager to hear that as well. The other thing that I wanted to mention is we just after the writing of this report, we got word that our one of our I would consider them a key member of our integrated watershed management team. They were successful in a position at Conservation Ontario. So we have our water quality specialist, Debbie Belika. She's going to move to Conservation Ontario, and that's a pretty high profile position within that organization. So it's I think it's pretty exciting for her, and certainly wish her well. I know that she's pushed the water quality programs pretty far from when she first started about 4 years ago here. So certainly excited for her, and wish her all the best.
thank you. Thanks, Mark. And I join with you in wishing Debbie nothing but the best at Conservation Ontario. She will be missed here. Just a question regarding the recall, I'll call it, of staff. Do you anticipate that they're all essentially still available, or do we know that?
Yes, so that is something that we're working on right now. Our directors are calling back their staff and just getting a sense of where they are. We've set out a schedule for when we would anticipate different staff to come back online. So that's what we're working on. My understanding is through those discussions we'll be able to get to that point.
All right, thank you. Director Seymour Fagan, you have a question?
I do. How many staff have left during this pandemic time? And
Yep. So during this pandemic time, there were two individuals that were able to get some other employment. Obviously, being laid off is certainly tough, and those were two of the employees that we have, our team members that were successful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions for Mark before we move into close?
I have one, sir.
Yes, go ahead, Director Moore.
Through your chair. Do we have plans or do we have planning on replacing all these people, like the three people, I guess, the one that's got the advancement and the two that have left? Have you, or are you putting out to recruit new help?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, that is our intent, is to take a look at those positions and how they're framed within our organization. Obviously, whenever someone goes, there's an opportunity to kind of look at opportunities as well. So that's something that we're looking at, but we do plan on rehiring.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Could I have a motion then to, if there are no other questions, I have a motion then to go into closed session? Director Wendover.
Mr. Chair, I did have a question. I'm sorry, I was trying to hit the mute, and I see I already have the mute button already off. So my question through you to Mark.
Sure, go ahead.
I think I just lost my train of thought. So do we have to go through like retail operations have to go through different levels, stages, and stuff like that? Will the staff at the board office, will they have to go through, like, had we had to put up partitions and separate out, workstations and things like that? Is that going to be a fairly significant? Because I know from the retail part of it, some of my staff had issues with even coming back to make sure that, when they did come back, they want to make sure it was a safe working environment. Mm-hmm. So I'm just throwing that out there just as a question.
Legitimate question.
Yep. Through you, Mr. Chair, that has been one of our foremost concerns as we bring people back. Is we recognize that this pandemic is certainly one that is unprecedented in our lifetime. Certainly can have some pretty severe consequences as well, not only for the employees but their families and loved ones. So making sure that everyone is protected is really something that we're keen on. So we are looking at a combination remote and office workforce. So not everyone will be back in the office while this is going on. And we'll have a kind of staggered work shift, if you want to call it, between people that are in the office. We still have our cleaning that's done by our cleaners, and we've purchased or are in the process of purchasing a couple of disinfecting units for the office. So the barriers as well are things that we're looking forward to implementing. We're working with a couple of suppliers on that. So yes, we are going to ensure that the workplace is safe for everyone, and we'll be communicating that. Something I've been doing for everyone that's been laid off is I've been communicating with them on a weekly basis, just to keep them abreast of things that are happening in the office. So that's part of the our thought going forward, is make sure that people are comfortable coming back.
And through the chair, that's good information to have. Do we have any idea? Do you have any idea? Well, I'm sure you do. How many people will probably end up working from home as opposed to being called, back, or they'll come back? I'm sure at different points of the operation, right? So I'm just trying to get a sort of a sense of how many people will actually be working, and will we have to upgrade our security system as far as, i.e. the cyber networks and stuff like that, to make sure that the computers are compatible with security measures and stuff like that?
Yep, absolutely. So on a very kind of general note, I'll say that we can probably achieve social distancing within the office for about 50% of our staff very easily. So that's kind of one component. We do in some ways have a lot of distance between desks. So it's not just a cubicle type environment that we have. So that certainly assists in that. But even still, we're looking at about somewhere around a 50% or less number of people in the office at any one point in time. That's just a general kind of outlook and some projections that we have based on the conversations and what we think might be a reasonable look at what the workforce in the office looks like upon a return to work. So.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the latitude. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion then to go into a closed session.
I'll give you that motion, Councillor Hooper.
All right, Director Hooper, we have a seconder, please. Sorry, who was that?
Director Ross, I'll second that.
Director Ross. All right, thank you. Anyone opposed? Motion is carried then. And Mark, is there things we need to do as we go into closed?
Yeah, there's so we have the YouTube.